Every day we face some form of uncertainty, stress, or fear. It might be something big, like a challenging conversation, posting something vulnerable online, or asking for something we want. Or it might be something more subtle, like a heavy feeling in our chest, an anxious thought, or a quiet voice telling us we're not enough. When this happens, most of us don't even realize our body is searching for comfort. For some people, that comfort comes from emotional eating. For others, it's scrolling on their phones, pouring a glass of wine, spending money, working too much, or saying yes just to keep the peace. We all have habits we fall into when we feel exposed, afraid, or alone. For me, it often shows up after I share something personal with the world, whether it's a podcast episode, a blog post, or simply saying out loud, I believe my work matters. Fear sneaks in. I suddenly feel raw and uncertain. The fear of being judged takes over, and I find myself in the kitchen. Not because I'm hungry, but because I want to feel safe. I reach for food because in that moment, it feels like something I can control when everything else feels out of control. But here's the truth. This isn't really about food, and it's not about willpower. It's about what happens inside us when fear takes hold. This is about learning to care for ourselves when fear arises. Before I start today's episode, I want to quickly plug another podcast that I think you might like. It's called Talking to Teens, Expert Tips for Parenting Teenagers. As a parent, navigating the teenage years can feel like an advanced course in life lessons. This show brings in experts on everything from communication breakdowns to self-esteem issues, offering practical strategies, not just general advice. If you're raising teens or have them in your life, check out Talking to Teens wherever you get podcasts or visit talkingtoteens.com. This is the Lessons for Life with Grandma Kate podcast, which is all about real talk and practical tips for building self-esteem, confidence, and self-worth so you can step into your power and live life on your terms. New episodes drop every Thursday, so hit that subscribe button and let's grow together. And if you're loving the podcast, a quick review helps more people find it. Like a lighthouse, steady and strong, let's shine a little brighter today. So what is fear? Let's take a moment to define fear. Simply put, fear is a natural emotion that shows up when we believe we are in danger or when we're about to face something unknown or risky. Our brain sends signals to our body to be alert. This is how our ancestors stayed safe when facing real threats, like wild animals or dangerous situations. But today, most things that trigger fear are not life-threatening like wild animals. Instead, fear shows up when we share our true feelings. Try something new, set a boundary, or speak up. That's why fear can feel confusing. We're not in danger, but our body reacts as if we are. Our heart races, our stomach flips, our hands sweat. We might freeze, want to run, or shut down. This is how powerful fear can be, and it's completely normal. Fear doesn't just stay in our minds. It affects our whole body. When fear becomes a regular visitor, it can leave us tired, anxious, and overwhelmed. It can affect our sleep, our focus, and even our health. Fear can also shape how we treat others and ourselves. When we're afraid, we may avoid things that matter to us. We might hold back, stay quiet, or try to be perfect not to upset anyone. Over time, fear can rob us of our joy, energy, and our voice. It can make us believe we're not strong, worthy, or ready. But none of that is true. You are not weak. You are human. I realized I needed something to help me slow down when fear, stress, or doubt crept in. Something to guide me back to myself before I reached for the snack, the scroll, the sip, or stayed silent when I wanted to speak up. I didn't want to just cope anymore. I wanted to connect with what I was feeling underneath the craving. I wanted to choose peace, not panic. Presence, not escape. That's when I created something simple but powerful. A method that helps me pause, listen to what I truly need, and respond with care. I call it the N.O.U.R.I.S.H method. It's not about being perfect. It's about learning to catch the moment when fear or discomfort shows up and choosing to respond from a place of inner peace instead of reacting from old patterns. This method is my gentle reminder to come home to myself, to offer kindness, not criticism, and to create space between the trigger and the reaction so I can move forward in a way that feels honest, grounded, and whole. This isn't about doing things perfectly. It's about bringing awareness, presence, and compassion into the little moments, especially the ones where you'd usually check out, numb out, or shut down. It's about replacing autopilot reactions with intentional choices that support your growth and inner peace. Think of this as a gentle reset, a moment to check in with yourself before you check out of yourself. You don't need hours of free time or a yoga mat. You just need a willingness to pause and let a little structure help guide you. So let's break it down together. Here's how the N.O.U.R.I.S.H method can help you care for your emotional self one moment at a time. N. Notice the urge. This is your first step. When fear rises, loud and obvious, or subtle and sneaky, your body often reacts before your brain can catch up. You find yourself walking toward the kitchen, reaching for your phone, opening your email, or staying just a little busier. These are urges. They're your body's way of saying, I don't feel safe right now. Instead of judging the urge or trying to stop it with willpower, pause and simply notice it. Ask yourself, what am I feeling pulled to right now? What's my go-to comfort or distraction? Am I trying to avoid or escape something uncomfortable? You're not trying to fix anything yet. You're just bringing gentle awareness to the moment. This simple act of noticing interrupts autopilot and opens the door to real change. Remember, the urge isn't the problem. It's a signal. Noticing it with curiosity, not shame, is your first act of power. O. Open yourself up to the emotion or feeling. Let the emotion rise. Let it move through. Sometimes, all your nervous system needs is to be seen and heard. Instead of pushing the feeling away, take a moment to say, yes, this is hard, and I see you. You don't need to fix it. You just need to feel it. Start by noticing where the emotion shows up in your body. Does your chest feel tight? Are your shoulders hunched? Is there a heavy feeling in your stomach or a dull ache in your knees? Emotions aren't always loud. They can whisper through your body in ways you've learned to ignore. Place your hand on that spot, gently and breathe. Ask yourself with care and curiosity, not judgment. Am I anxious? Am I lonely? Am I tired, overwhelmed, or afraid? Am I feeling disappointed, unseen, or unloved? Let the answers come without rushing. Sometimes the emotion speaks in words. Other times, it's just a sigh, a tear, or a sensation. And that's okay. The goal here is simply to name what's true, because once you can name the feeling, you've already softened its power and taken the first step towards inner peace. You understand the trigger. Once you've noticed the urge, take a moment to explore what may have caused it. This is where you begin to understand the trigger behind the reaction. What fear just got stirred up? Maybe someone's words reminded you of a painful experience. Maybe you felt judged, unseen, or didn't measure up. Maybe you were about to do something brave and fear crept in, whispering, "What if you fail?" Triggers can be loud or quiet. Sometimes they're obvious, but other times they live in our nervous system from past moments we never had the chance to process. That's why this step is so important. So ask yourself, did something just make me feel unsafe, embarrassed, or afraid? What fear am I responding to right now? What part of me is trying to protect itself? Understanding the trigger gives context to the urge. It softens self-blame and replaces it with self-compassion. This is how you connect the dots and begin the real work of healing. R. Respond with kindness. Once you've noticed what's going on, open to the feeling, and explored the trigger, now it's time to respond, but not with judgment or shame, with care. This is the moment to choose something small and gentle that meets the need underneath the urge. You're not trying to be perfect or good. You're simply choosing to be present, and that's more than enough. You could place your hand on your heart and take a few slow, steady breaths. You could step outside for a short walk and let the wind brush your skin. You could wrap yourself in a cozy blanket and let yourself rest. Maybe you text someone you trust and say, "I just needed to hear a kind word." Or you could open your journal and write a single honest sentence. The response doesn't have to be big. In fact, the softer and simpler, the better. These small choices create new pathways in your brain that say, "I don't need to run from this feeling. I know how to take care of myself through it." When you respond with kindness, you're building something powerful, self-trust. You're showing yourself that you can feel, pause, and still make choices that lead to healing, not harm. This is where change begins, and this is where inner peace starts to grow. I. Invite positive self-talk. After you've responded with care, take a moment to check in with the voice inside your head. Is it kind? Or is it critical? This is where you invite a kinder voice. Not the harsh one that tells you you're failing or being dramatic. Not the one that says you should have handled things better. That voice is often just fear in disguise. Instead, turn to the voice of your wise, loving self, the one who sees the whole picture, the one who knows how far you've come. What would that voice say? Maybe something like, "You're doing your best. You are safe, even if this feels scary. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy." And if your voice still feels too shaky, that's okay. You can borrow mine. I'll say it for you. You are okay. You are so deeply okay. Speaking to yourself with compassion isn't a weakness. It's a brave act of emotional self-care. Over time, this kinder voice becomes louder, stronger, and more familiar. And it becomes the one you trust most. That's where your true strength lives. S. Shift the environment. Shifting your environment when the feelings are intense and the urge is strong can help. Even a small change can help reset your energy and bring you back to center. This isn't about forcing yourself to snap out of it. It's about creating just enough space for your nervous system to take a breath. When you feel yourself about to numb out, pause and ask, can I change rooms? Can I open a window and feel fresh air? Can I play soft music or turn off the noise completely? Can I dim the lights or just step outside for a minute? These may seem like small actions, but they have significant effects. Shifting your environment shifts your state. It tells your body, we're safe. We're doing something different now. You don't have to figure everything out at that moment. Even for a few seconds, stepping away can interrupt the cycle and invite a sense of calm. That's how we create a life that supports healing, not hiding in fear. And H, honor yourself. At the end of it all, the most powerful thing you can do is honor what you truly need. Not what you should do, not what someone else expects, but what does your present, wise, grounded self need now? Sometimes honoring your needs means resting. Sometimes it means saying no. Sometimes it means asking for help, taking a break, or giving yourself permission to feel proud. And sometimes it's just allowing yourself to be without fixing or forcing anything. Honoring your needs is not selfish. It's self-respect. It's how you rebuild trust with yourself one moment at a time. And it's how you create a life where inner peace isn't just a wish. It's a practice. So before you move on with your day, pause and ask, what do I need right now? And then gently, bravely, permit yourself to receive it. Fear will always show up, sometimes in significant ways, sometimes in tiny whispers. But with the N.O.U.R.I.S.H method, you now have a gentle guide to help you face it with awareness, compassion, and choice. Each step brings you closer to yourself and to the kind of peace that isn't shaken by life's storms. Think of your inner self like a lighthouse, strong, steady, and full of light. The waves may crash around you, the winds may howl, but your light doesn't have to dim just because fear shows up. You don't have to hide. You don't have to shrink. You were never meant to live in the shadows of your own story. Let your light shine, especially when fear convinces you to play small. If this message speaks to you, I invite you to download a free printable version of the N.O.U.R.I.S.H method at lessonsforlifewithgrammakate.com. Hang it where you'll see it. Use it when you feel overwhelmed. Let it remind you of the calm, grounded strength already within you. And remember, you're not broken. You are becoming. Keep going. Your light matters. There is always time to rewrite your family story. Break free from patterns that no longer serve you and create a home filled with love, understanding, and unwavering support. I'm here to guide you every step of the way. As I conclude this episode, I must state that this podcast is designed solely for educational and entertainment purposes. While I bring my experience as a parent and grandparent, it's essential that you know I am not a licensed therapist. This podcast is not a substitute for professional advice from a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. Got it? Awesome. Until next time, what is one thing you are grateful for?